How what's up, y'all? It's popping. It's D. About to react to this impressive vid. It's titled Jeezy Dumps Jeannie Mai. Jeannie Mai. Wow, they're divorcing. What's the reason why Jeannie and Jeezy split? So we gonna get into it and see what happened with them. That's crazy because I just saw a video of them on Instagram looking real cozy with their little baby or whatever, and look at what is taking place behind closed doors. That's why you can't believe stuff. People see little cute videos and people are like, oh, such a cute relationship. You don't know what's happening when the camera is off. And it's crazy because this woman did not even want kids. She didn't even want kids at all. But then she met him and was like, oh, he's the right man. Okay, I'll have a baby by him. That's something I used to think about too. Like, because, I've talked about this many times. I don't want children either at all. But I was like, maybe if the right man comes along, maybe it's a possibility. Everybody is the right man at the right time, okay? You come across a man, everything's going great, y'all in the honeymoon phase, and look at this right man. Until he become the wrong man, Anyway, let's see what's going on, though. Let's watch.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the impressive...
And obviously, I don't know what the fuck happened between them. I'm not saying that he was at fault and, he was the wrong man in the situation. I'm just speaking in general terms. Someone could have a baby by someone thinking that, oh, this is the right person for me, and then they find out that they're not the right person. So she could be at fault, he could be at fault, maybe they both at fault. I don't fucking know. I'm just speaking in general.
So it has been revealed by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that the rapper Jeezy filed for divorce from the TV host Jeannie Mai. In the filing in Fulton County Superior Court says Jeezy, whose real name is Jay Jenkins, is already separated from Mai, and they have signed a prenuptial agreement. Jeezy is seeking joint legal custody of their daughter, who was born early last year.
Damn.
Now, Jeezy and Jeannie have been married over 2 years. They got married in March of 2021. And I remember when they got married, it was very hush-hush. And this was during the time The Real was still on. And for those who don't know, The Real was a talk show that Jeannie was a co-host on. But yeah, I do find it very interesting that now 2 years later, they have split. Now, what made Jeezy file for divorce from Jeannie? We don't know all the details, but I do have my speculation on why it didn't work out.
Please share.
And before I get into that, I first want to thank Raycon for sponsoring this video. Raycon's everyday earbuds.
Y'all got support.
Shipping. Now back to the video. Jeannie and Jeezy had an unexpected romance that started back in November 2018. And the relationship progressed pretty quickly. After dating for over a year, they got engaged and then they eventually got married. But the marriage was short-lived, and I do think the reason for this is because Jeannie and Jeezy more than likely grew apart because they live two different lives. Jeannie is in LA, she lives the Hollywood life, and Jeezy is in Atlanta, and he's pretty low-key. He'll
Wait,
go
they
out
don't
and
live
do
in the
some
same
tours here
state?
and there, but he's a businessman in Atlanta. So I think they live two different lives. They run in different circles. They have different friends, different cultures. So I think they kind of got together because they wanted something from each other. And once they got what they wanted, the marriage pretty much ran its course.
Oh.
They both benefited from the publicity that this relationship gave them. I think Jeezy married Jeannie because of the temporary publicity, and also Jeannie has the look and aesthetic that he probably was going for. He wanted to marry somebody outside of his race, and he got that. And he probably realized after a while that he wasn't really ready to be married for real. This is actually the first marriage that Jeezy has been in from what we know. At one point, he was engaged to one of his exes named Malette Mahi. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but he was engaged to her. However, he called off the engagement. Jeannie was the only one he actually married, and I don't think he has ever made a commitment this big before. And once he got married, I'm sure he realized it wasn't for him. And I do wonder if there was any infidelity going on. I don't know for certain, but I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case too. But for now, I'm thinking that Jeezy probably got tired of being married. He got married to Jeannie because it was good publicity for him at the time, and also he wanted to marry somebody outside of his race and culture. He probably was attracted to Jeannie for that reason. So he had his motives. And also, I think Jeannie had her motives for getting married to Jeezy as well. For one, Jeezy had money.
Yes,
Okay?
business.
Jeannie was not going to get married to a broke dude. She was going to make sure he had money because she needed that security, especially after the real ended. And also, I think she saw Jeezy as a way to kind of get her foot through the doors of urban entertainment. So she saw the potential opportunity in that. And it was good publicity for her as well. Lastly, and this is going to sound wrong to say, but I think she might have gotten married to Jeezy because she wanted to have a mixed race child with a famous rapper. Okay? And I hate to say it like that, but honestly, I'm starting to think it's true. Because prior to her marrying Jeezy, Jeannie was in a 10-year marriage with a man named Freddie Hartise.
For 10 years?
And throughout that marriage, she told him that she did not want any kids. And there were legitimate reasons why she didn't want children. She had a lot of trauma to unpack from her childhood, so that was a big reason. But also, I think she probably didn't see the opportunity in having a child with somebody like Freddie. Having a child with Jeezy was probably more appealing because she could stand to have more monetary gain. I mean, Jeezy is rich and black and famous, and she could capitalize off of having a biracial child with a famous rapper. And I'm not saying that she only had a child with Jeezy for money. I'm definitely not saying that. But Jeannie is not a dummy either. She knew that she wasn't going to have a child with the wrong person. And she saw Freddie as the wrong person to have a child with. She waited until she found the right person to have a child with. And Jeezy had the qualities she was looking for. So I think Jeannie and Jeezy both got together for ulterior motives. And they got what they wanted out of the marriage. And they went their separate ways. That's what I think. Jeannie had something that his exes didn't have, and Jeezy had something that Jeannie's ex-husband Freddie didn't have. Freddie was not famous like that. He was just a regular white guy who loved Jeannie for who she was. He never really challenged her, and that kind of was his fault because he allowed Jeannie to pretty much all over him. And Jeannie herself admitted that in so many words.
That is such a... I'm sorry. First off, Impressive is fucking hilarious, okay? I watch these videos because her takes on things cracks me the fuck up. And she says a lot of wild stuff, but that is the most wild statement, or one of the most wild statements I've heard her say. He never challenged her. Girl! How do you know that in the 10 years that they was married, he never challenged her? How do you know that? How do you know that, girl? You was not in their marriage. Like, what? Unless they both have come out and said that, then sure. But play the clip, girl, if that's the case. I need both of them to say it, not just one of them. I need both of them to say it.
But Jeannie started to get a little bit more famous. She
Girl.
started to make more money. And she got to a point where she didn't really respect Freddie like that because she felt like he wasn't really on her level. Now, at one point, he was good enough for her because he did have some financial stability. He wasn't making crazy money, but he had enough that made Jeannie secure at the time.
She did not want that lady in the shop.
Making more money in her career. And also, she saw Freddie as somebody who was safe. Even though she was attracted to black men, at the time she preferred to be...
That ain't what the fuck she said on that one clip I saw, that real clip when she was on that show. She was like, I don't do dark meat or something like that. She said something hella racist, so that did not give me the impression that she liked black dudes or were attracted to them at all.
Married to a white man, and she did admit this on the real. And the comment she made was pretty controversial.
You dated black guys.
Loved black guys. Yeah, I did. But for me, dark meat on the side, white keeps me mean and lean. You know, that's why I married white.
Okay, that's still talking.
When I think about men, I like dark men. I do.
Right, you like your main man to be white and your side to be dark.
Yeah, that's what the fuck you said, bitch.
I used to date black men. Okay, I think they're attractive. But what I decided to stick to, because it just kept me happiest, was my man Freddie, who happens to be white.
Are you sure?
Yes!
That was a really wild statement Jeannie made. She was wild for that. She did end up apologizing for
I don't care. You said what the fuck you said, bitch.
Listening to it again was just crazy. But Jeannie ended up making Jeezy her main dish because he had qualities that appealed to her. And also,
now he dropped your
was
ass.
Her true preference.
Yo, dark meat dropped your ass.
She couldn't admit that while she was married to Freddie, but her true preference was always a black man. And a black man with money sealed the deal for her. However, her relationship with that black man still did not work out. And back to the topic at hand. I believe another reason why Jeannie and Jeezy probably didn't work out is because their communication may have been a little off.
Oh.
Like I said, I think they grew apart, and to me it seemed like they had separate lives. And even when they did the whole baby shower thing on the real, there was kind of a disconnect. I don't know, it just seemed like they weren't really compatible like that. Also, Jeannie admitted that she and Jeezy had some pretty heated conversations. Jeannie has a hot temper, and her ex never really challenged her to change. But when she got with Jeezy, she did try to make some changes because, unlike Freddie, she actually respected Jeezy, and she knew that Jeezy wasn't going for her nonsense either. So she tried to do what she could do to be more submissive and be more, I guess, cooperative. But I think in the end, it probably got explosive between the two of them, which is probably another reason why they went their separate ways.
For example, I have a really hot temper. Not a lot of people know this, but it's just something in my family. I've seen it in my grandmother. Saw it in my grandfather.
I hate when people make statements like this, but then come up with excuses. I don't want to hear your goddamn excuses. You have a hot temper because you don't have no self-control. You ain't doing nothing to work on that. That is all within your control. I don't like that. Why do you have a bad temper? The fact that you're aware of it, you're self-aware, you should be taking steps to correct that. I don't want to hear about where it came from. That is irrelevant to whatever happened in your past. It's irrelevant. I don't care what nobody say. You are in control of how you move forward and communicate with people.
My mother, to my mom, to my aunts, to me, right? But I didn't notice it in myself until I was with Jeezy.
Interesting. You didn't notice in your previous marriage?
No, because it has to do with the type of relationship you have and the type of respect you have for that person to mirror things back to you where you actually would stop you in your tracks and evaluate yourself, you know?
So you had it.
So I had it, but nobody ever called me out on it. I didn't notice that I had a hot temper until I got with Jeezy. And here's a person who is my equal and I really respect. And when I would spew some of my old habits, and he was like, like, who? That's not flying here. And also, it would trigger him to come back at me with things where I was like...
To say that nobody ever, called you out on it as if that excuses anything, you are a fucking grown, very grown-ass woman. You know right from wrong. You know what you're doing is fucked up. You know you shouldn't talk to people with disrespect. So why do you need someone to call you out on it? I'm confused. People are fucked. Listen.
But I was triggering him. But he never told me to fix my temper. I just saw it and I thought, unless I want to stay in this place where I lose this person I love and I stay in my comfort zone of doing what I want to do and function the way I have.
So he also didn't.
Nobody else had to stop me.
Which obviously has done quite well for you.
Right, I could have. But this was something greater that I wanted. And also a great challenge to myself to say, what if, now that I know it exists and the dragon's there, what if I got rid of that? How do I kill that dragon or store it in its place so that it never creates havoc in my life? And that took work.
So Jeannie admitted that she had to actually work on her anger when being in a relationship with Jeezy. Now, I don't know how successful her conflict resolution skills were because Jeezy still ended up leaving. And I'm not going to put the full blame on Jeannie because I know Jeezy has his issues as well. He's had a lot of drama in his past relationships, and he also was even arrested for being violent towards his own son. So, yes, Jeannie has a temper, but Jeezy clearly has a temper as well. So I don't think the blame lies on one person. And I'm not insinuating that there was any abuse in their marriage, but to me it seems like they weren't really communicating well, and that could have played a part in their separation. And they both went their separate ways. And I also think Jeezy got tired of being married, honestly. He hardly posts about his family on social media. And I always find it interesting when one person posts all about their family and another person doesn't. I understand that Jeezy wants his business to be separate from his personal life, but I thought it was a little odd that he would hardly make posts about Jeannie. Jeezy is not like Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane is very proud of his family. He's always posting his wife, Keisha, and their children, but Jeezy wasn't doing that. And now I see why. he and Jeannie clearly weren't in the best space, which is why he separated from her. He was the one who actually beat her to the punch and filed for divorce. And that speaks volumes. It really does. But anyway, tell what you all think.
I cannot. When I hear grown people making comments like that, it really confuses me. I understand people in high school. Why you gonna post me? Oh, he not posting her. He must not like her. Okay, cool. If you are a teenager saying that, all right, I expect that of you. But when grown people are just like, he ain't really posting her. She don't post me. Must be a problem. Not everybody lives for social media. And it's so wild that some people don't understand that. I'm not saying Impressive doesn't understand that, but I'm just saying in general, I feel like that's a common ideology, is that, oh, you have to post your significant other, or there must be an issue, or you're trying to hide them. Maybe you don't want to make your personal business that public, and you don't want people commenting on how y'all look together. Oh, y'all body language. Do you really even like her? Why you standing so far from her? Why you ain't smiling in this picture? Are you even happy? Like, people are weird, especially when you're a celebrity. So some celebrities don't want to deal with that, and I don't think that's an issue. I don't think that indicates that there's a problem. But sure, people think differently, whatever. I don't know what happened with these people. It's very interesting hearing Impressive's take on why they split, or her guesses, her speculations. Very, very interesting. But I guess we'll find out in time. Maybe we won't. Maybe, they'll come out. I feel like Jeannie, she has a big mouth though, so she'll eventually come out and say something. We're going to get something from her. So I'm just waiting. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.